Hello and welcome back to the accounting module. In our previous lessons, we reviewed the configurations and setting options within the accounting module. Next, we will explore some day-to-day operations using Odoo accounting. In this lesson, we will start to review the processes related to accounts receivable. Creating a customer record in Odoo version 18 accounting is essential to keep track of your customers' transactions and activities. Let's see this in action by navigating to the Customers menu by going to Accounting, Customers, Customers, and click on New. Here you can add useful information such as the customer's name, email, phone number, and address. Let's take an example of a newly created customer named John Smith. Under the Sales and Purchase tab, we can add additional information such as default payment terms, payment methods, and currency. This information would be useful when creating invoices or credit notes for the customer. This customer record can now be accessed at any time to view transactions, contact information, and other useful data. Next, let's add an invoice against this customer. To create an invoice, navigate to the Invoice menu under Customers, Invoices, and click on New. Select John Smith as a customer, and Odoo will automatically populate their information. Let's set the due date as a date in the past. Next, let's add the products or services you want to invoice by clicking on Add a line. Let's say that we sold a customizable desk. We can add this product by clicking in the Product field and starting to type CUS and selecting the correct product, like so. We can update the account, quantity, price, and taxes if applicable, but they will default to product settings defined under the product profile. You can also update a description or reference. Let's also add a second line for a non-product item. For example, a field service. Let's select the appropriate accounting code, quantity, price, and tax. Once all the necessary line items have been added, Odoo will automatically calculate the total amount due. When an invoice has been created in Odoo, the system automatically generates a journal entry in the background to reflect the transaction. To review the journal entry that was created by Odoo for an invoice, click on the Journal Items tab, like so. We see the details of the journal entry such as the accounts affected and the amounts debited and credited. If we notice any errors or discrepancies in the journal entry, we can make adjustments to correct them. For example, if the wrong account was credited under the service charge line, we can make the necessary changes to the invoice line to ensure that your accounts are accurate. Let's post the invoice by clicking Confirm and then immediately send a copy to the customer by clicking on Send. The default email wording can be amended if necessary or additional attachments added before clicking Send. On the right or underneath, we can see the chatter related to the invoice. Chatter is a feature in Odoo that allows for easy communication with other team members within a specific record, such as an invoice. From the chatter, we can message, add attachments, and mention other team members to keep everyone informed and on the same page. In this chatter, we see relevant details, including when the invoice was generated and by whom. After an invoice is sent, the chatter can also be used to track any communication between your team and the customer regarding the invoice. For example, if the customer has a question about the invoice or wants to dispute a charge, your team can use chatter to communicate with the customer and resolve any issues. This helps to streamline your accounts receivable process by ensuring clear communication by all those involved. Let's create additional invoices for John Smith by duplicating the existing invoice, which can be done by clicking on the Action cog, selecting Duplicate, then Confirm. Let's say we created this additional invoice in error and now must create a credit note. There are two methods in Odoo to create a credit note. 1. The first method is to create a credit note manually. To do so, navigate to the Customers, Credit Notes, click on the New button and enter the details of the credit note, such as the customer, the date, and the reason for the credit. 2. The second method involves adding a credit note against an invoice in Odoo. This can be done by navigating to the invoice that we want to credit and click on the Credit Note button. Add the reason here and click the Reverse button. This will reverse the invoice and match the invoice with the credit note automatically. Now let's review the customer account John Smith by navigating to the customer record under Customer, Customers, click on John Smith's account and click on the Invoiced Smart button. We see a list of all the invoices and credit notes for this customer. Clicking on an invoice will display details, including the customer information, line items, taxes, and total amount due. We can also mark the invoice as paid when the customer makes a payment. This will be covered in more depth in future lessons. By following the breadcrumbs back to the customer account and clicking on the Customer Statement Smart button, a statement of all customer invoices and credit notes will be generated. Similarly, clicking back on the breadcrumbs and into the Accounting tab, there is a section named Invoice Follow-ups, which will show any alerts relating to follow-up actions. For an overview of outstanding invoices or follow-ups for all customers, click on the breadcrumbs to return to the customers list. In the search bar, you can add filters to show overdue invoices or requires follow-up. These tools can help businesses follow up with customers regarding any outstanding balances. Actions can be defined under the Configuration Follow-up Levels menu. Let's view a customer's follow-up report. Select the customer John Smith. Click the Customer Statement Smart button and click on the Report filter. Choose the option Follow-up Report. This report will display a list of all the outstanding invoices that match the defined criteria, including the amount owed and the due date. Based on the follow-up level configuration, these reminders can be triggered automatically or manually. Further details can be found in previous lessons. That's it. We've explored the day-to-day processes associated with accounts receivable. Why don't you head to the next lesson, where we will explore further the process associated with accounts receivable and customer payments. Thank you for watching, and until next time.